I'm going to share with you how to maximize human effectiveness, and we're getting started right now. What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to crush your goals, reach your potential, and be more effective in all the different roles that you play in life, start right now by hitting the round subscribe icon and tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. Effectiveness is in harmony with a natural law, a principle called the P-PC balance, which many people break themselves against, and it can be easily understood in the story of the goose and the golden egg. This is a story of a poor farmer who found a golden egg that was produced by one of his geese. At first, he didn't believe it. It just didn't wrap right into his brain. So he took the egg in to get it appraised and found out that it was an actual solid gold egg. And over time, day by day, this goose produces another golden egg each and every day that he wakes up. And over time, he becomes very wealthy. And in this process, he becomes very impatient and greedy, and he can't wait day by day for the golden eggs. So he comes up with this plot to kill the goose and to get all the golden eggs at once. And once he kills this goose and opens it up, he finds no golden eggs, and now he no longer is getting the producing asset of the golden egg. Within this story is a natural law, a principle, the definition of effectiveness. Most people see effectiveness from the golden egg paradigm. The more you produce, the more you do, the more effective you are. But as the story shows, true effectiveness is a function of two things. What is produced, the egg, and the producing asset, or the capacity to produce, the goose. If you adopt a life that focuses on the golden eggs and neglect the goose, you will soon be without the asset that produces the golden eggs. On the other hand, if you only focus on taking care of the goose with no aim towards the golden eggs, you soon won't have the wherewithal to feed yourself or the goose. Effectiveness lies in the P-PC balance. P stands for production of desired results, the golden egg, and PC stands for production capability, the ability or assets that produces the golden eggs, the goose. There are three kinds of assets: physical, financial, and human. Let's look at each one in turn. I purchased my first car, which is a physical asset, at the age of 16. Now this car was a great physical asset, and the fact that it made transportation much more efficient. I didn't take care of the car by not taking it for regular checkups, didn't change the oil out on it, until eventually I ran it into the ground and it was no longer effective means for transportation. I ruined the engine. Had I invested in PC by maintaining the car and taking it in for regular checkups, I could quite possibly still be driving this car today. Instead, in return, I had to turn the car in and purchase another one, which cost me a lot more than what it would have cost by just maintaining the car. In our quest for short-term returns or results, we often ruin a prized physical asset such as our car, computer, dryer, even our own bodies and environment. Keeping P and PC in balance makes a tremendous difference in the effective use of our physical assets. It also powerfully impacts the effective use of financial assets. How often do people confuse principle with interest? Have you ever invaded principle to increase your standard of living to get more golden eggs? The decreasing principle has decreasing power to produce interest or income, and the dwindling capital becomes smaller and smaller until it no longer supplies the basic need. Our most important financial asset is our own capacity to earn. If we don't continually invest in PC, we severely limit our own options. We're locked into our present situation, running scared of the corporation or our boss's opinion of us, economically dependent and defensive. Again, it simply isn't effective. In the human area, the P-PC balance is equally fundamental, but even more so because people control physical and financial assets. When two people become more concerned with the golden eggs, the benefits, than they are in preserving the relationship that makes them possible, they often become inconsiderate and insensitive, neglecting the little kindnesses and courtesies so important to a deep relationship. They begin to use control levers to manipulate each other, to focus on their own needs, to justify their own position, and they begin to look for evidence to show wrongness in the other person. the love, the richness, the softness, and the spontaneity begin to deteriorate, and the goose gets sicker day by day. And what about a parent's relationship with a child? When children are very young, they're very dependent and very vulnerable, and it becomes very easy to neglect the PC work, the training, communicating, the listening, and the relating. It's easy to take advantage, to manipulate, and to get what you want the way you want it right now. You're bigger, you're smarter, and you're right, so why not just tell them what to do? And if necessary, yell at them and intimidate them and insist on your way. Or you can indulge them and you can go for the golden egg of popularity, of pleasing them and giving them their way all the time. Then they grow up without any internal sense of standards or expectations, without a personal commitment to being disciplined or responsibility. Either way, authoritarian or permissive, you have the golden egg mentality. You either want to have your way or you want to be liked. But in the meantime, what happens to the goose? What sense of responsibility, of self-discipline, of confidence in making good choices and achieving important goals is the child going to have later on down the road? And what about the relationship? When he reaches those critical teenage years, the identity crisis, does he know from experience that you will listen without judging, that you truly deeply care about him, and that you can be trusted no matter what? Will the relationship be strong enough for you to reach him, to communicate with him, to influence him? Suppose you want your daughter to have a clean room, that's P, production, and suppose you want her to clean it, that's PC, production capability. Your daughter is the goose, the asset that produces the golden eggs. If you have P and PC in balance, she cleans the room cheerfully without being reminded, because she has the discipline to stay with the commitment. She's a valuable asset. She is a goose that can produce golden eggs. But if you're focused on production, on getting the room clean, you might find yourself nagging her to get her to do it. You might even escalate your efforts to threatening and yelling at her, and in your desire to get the golden eggs, you undermine the health and welfare of the goose. There are organizations that talk a lot about the customer and then completely neglect the person that deals with the customer, the employee. The PPC principle is to always treat your employees exactly how you would want them to treat your best customers. You could buy a person's hand, but you can't buy his heart. His heart is where his enthusiasm and his loyalty is. You could buy a person's back, but you can't buy his brain. That's where his creativity is and his resourcefulness. PC work is treating your employees as volunteers just as you treat your customers as volunteers, because that's what they are. They volunteer the best part, their minds and hearts. Effectiveness lies in the balance. Excessive focus on P results in ruined health, worn out machines, depleted bank accounts, and broken relationships. Too much focus on PC is like the person who runs 3 or 4 hours a day, bragging about the extra 10 years that he's creating, unaware that he's spending it running. You're a winner. To maintain the P-PC balance is often a difficult judgment call, but it is the very essence of effectiveness. It balances the short term with the long term, the desire to have the clean room and building the relationship with the child. It's a principle you could see validated in your own life when you burn the candle at both ends in effort to produce more golden eggs and you wind up sick or exhausted, unable to produce any at all. Or when you get a good night's sleep and you wake up ready to produce throughout the day. You could see it when you press to get your way with someone and then you feel an emptiness in that relationship, or when you take time to invest in that relationship and the desire and ability to work together and communicate then takes quantum leaps. The PPC balance is the very essence of effectiveness, and it's validated in every arena of life. We can either choose to work with it or against it, but it's there. Share this video on Facebook, and if you're part of any personal development group, you could share it with your friends there. And if you want to learn how to crush your goals, reach your potential, and be more effective in all the different roles that you play in life, start right now by hitting that round subscribe icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.